They get a 1 star for the selection of girls. Oh my god, you go to a place like this, you'd expect a pretty face or a nice body. There was neither when I was there. Overweight girls? Seriously? The performance was just awful. I would have been better to go to the pub and just pick up a large chick and save a fortune. Guys, if you want attractive ladies, you'll need to go somewhere else.
Welcome, listeners, to the One Star Bangs podcast, where we delve into the intriguing world of brothels through the lens of their 1-star Google reviews. I'm Madison, and this is my husband Ash, and we thought that we would open each episode of One Star Bangs with our worst review of the week. Ash, why don't you tell us about it?
Yes, this was a review in southeast Melbourne from a gentleman called Politically Correct. He has a ton of 1-star reviews, mostly aimed at doctor surgeries and several different departments of consumer affairs.
Not to spoil anything, but when we were going through these reviews, a lot of men actually use their real names, even selfies. I found one review that had a photo of him and his grandma when he was reviewing a bunch of brothels and also a big W for some reason. I don't know, there must be some sort of correlation in there. But when it's the specific reviews like this, I really wish I could just see a photo of them. Like, you're calling the women overweight, you're calling them ugly, you just want to run down to the pub and pick up some well, go do it. Why don't you go save yourself some money? If you're such a hotshot, then why aren't you picking up at the local pub?
I feel like there might be reasons behind it. Just throwing it up there, I did find a lot of Big W reviews as well. I don't know what's going on. They're all from a few years ago. This is on throughout all the reviews that I had a look at. I found a lot of Big W reviews.
I know that we spoke about this last week when we were talking about doing a podcast, but I wish, and it could never happen, but I wish there was some sort of census that we could do. Like, everyone who visits a brothel has to fill out a form, and it just says, like, where are the places that you shop? You know, what kind of food do you buy? Are you married? Are you not married? I would just love some data, some consumer data behind these reviews.
See, normally I would think that these men that are frequenting these establishments, they wouldn't put down their own personal details. I feel like that's a lie now. The amount of reviews that I've gone through and seen so much personal information. Just for the record, in this podcast, we're not going to dox anyone. We're just going to use first name and an initial from their last name. And we're also not going to name the brothel. We're just going to give you an area. So this week I did Southeast Victoria, and Madison did the west and slightly north. And she also got the CBD, which I think was a bit of a cop-out. So
yeah, actually, when I was going through it, the CBD had a lot of negative reviews, but not as much detail was put into them as the out of suburbs. So it's kind of a funny story about how we actually started looking up 1-star reviews of brothels. I mean, we're not connoisseurs of brothels by any means. I mean, I definitely am not. I can't speak for Ash over here.
I did some electrical work at one for a while, but never actually been a customer. So
he says, electrical work.
Yeah.
Electrical work.
Yeah, checking the plugs and stuff.
But we were actually stuck in a traffic jam on one of the main highways in the state that we live in. And Ash was driving and I was stuck in the passenger seat and I was not paying attention to anything he said and I was just kind of gazing out the window. And I saw this really interesting billboard and it didn't really say much. It just had some really cool branding. So I'm like, I'm going to Google that. What's in this area? Do we need to go there? And it was actually for a brothel, advertising a brothel that was kind of on the other side of the highway. And when I Googled it, all of these reviews came up and there were a lot of 1-star reviews and they were going into such intense detail and they had the name, like the real names and photos of the men that were doing these services. So it kind of became a little of a running thing when we were stuck in the car in traffic that we would just be like, all right, what area we're in, Google the brothels, what are the men saying about them? And there were so many funny stories. And then we would be catching up with friends and we would tell our friends about this and then they would start Googling all the 1-star brothel reviews and we would talk about it and they would tell their friends and we're like, why don't we just put it into a podcast and do all the heavy lifting for everyone?
Exactly. So here we are and welcome to 1-Star Bangs. So the format of the show, we both go off and do our own research, gather up our reviews, then we come together and we blind react to them. So I'll read a review and then Madison will read a review and we'll have a chat about it thereafter. So, follow up for the review that we had at the beginning of the podcast. This review was made by a gentleman called Politically Correct. He has a ton of one-star reviews, all aimed at his doctor's surgeries, which I found was very interesting. He also had a few reviews, or negative reviews, for different departments of the consumer affairs. So, this looks like his burner account, but I feel it just gives a good idea of what kind of man he is.
So for episode 1, we decided to focus on the state of Victoria in Australia, if you don't live here. So Victoria is a very interesting state. It was just as recently as the 22nd of February 2022 that the Sex Work Discrimination Act was passed by the Victorian Parliament and became a law. So what does this mean? These new laws recognise that sex work is legitimate work and is better regulated through standard business laws like all other industries in the state. Every Victorian worker, no matter their industry, deserves to feel safe in their workplace. So, which is really interesting because you'll see a lot of recurring themes in these reviews that kind of talk about them as if they aren't people, which is just disgusting, and I'm getting too far ahead of myself. So I'm going to hand over to Ash, and he's going to read me some reviews.
So our first review is from the southeast of Victoria. It's a brothel with 3.2 stars and 80 reviews in total. The customer's name is just Egg. I'm assuming that's a pseudonym. He had an egg as his profile picture, and he only had the one review in total. So his review was, "The girl called Sophie stole $50 from my pocket while I was in the shower. I have been a regular customer for a while and did not expect this to happen. She needs to be fired. Replying to your message, no, I do not give her any tip. I pay her $130 for 30 minutes. I did not give her any money. She stole the $50 while I was in the shower and did not realize until I had left. This was on Saturday, blah, blah, blah. She is lying to you. She's a thief. Really disappointed to see the response from the owner. I won't be coming here anymore, and I recommend no one else comes here either." Owner had a follow-up or response to him. "Hello, we are sorry to hear your experience. We clarified this matter with Sophie and she told us that you gave her $50 for tips at the beginning of the service. You must have forgotten about it. We have known Sophie for a long time. She has a good reputation with many returning customers. Your review is important to us and we appreciate your patience. We hope to see you again." So there's more to this one. We have Egg's friend named Gotham U. He also left a 1-star review for the brothel. "There is a girl called Sophie. She stole my friend money. I really disappointed. Thievies." Gotham has 14 reviews. Most of them are negative, directed towards payday loan places. I thought we needed to add in the payday loan places just so you could get a good idea of what kind of person he is.
That was really just the mayo on top of the sandwich for me. And I think a quick note to say is that we will be reading these reviews exactly how they're written. Punctuation, terrible spelling, and everything.
I have some really good ones following up. It's going to be very hard for me to read. I have about what should be about 3 paragraphs and about 10, 15 sentences. All with no full stops. It's gonna be fun.
Perfect. Take a deep breath. I think another fun thing about going through and reading these reviews is that a lot of businesses, non-sex work businesses, have to be really careful about how they respond to customer reviews. So a lot of the time they just don't respond to negative reviews, or they will just be like, "We are so sorry to hear that you experienced this. Here's $10 for your next meal." But the sex work industry, they just go absolute hammer and tong in response to these reviews, and it's amazing.
The brothel that I did the electrical work at, the owner was I don't know how to say, but he was an absolute prick. It was beautiful. He dealt with those customers, the negative customers, exactly how he should have dealt with them. Same with the receptionist. It was amazing to watch.
And I think that's the thing, is that this is an industry that deals with a lot of vulnerable women. These women are vulnerable when they're giving up their body for services to these men. You do not know who is walking through the door. You need a bitch who is on reception who is going to put them in their place. You need management who can see through the bullshit. That's exactly what you need in this industry.
And I highly doubt that she stole $50 from him.
Maybe he was a prick. Maybe. Do you know that episode of How I Met Your Mother where Lily steals something from everyone who's done her wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, maybe it was just an absolute prick and I'm just going to take myself $50, which doesn't excuse it. But maybe you kind of deserved it, not to victim blame here.
My next question is, who has cash on them anyway?
People that visit brothels.
Yeah, no, story
if-
checks, yeah.
If you think about it, the clientele, a lot of them are going to be married. They can't have that showing. They can't have that showing up on their, their bank statement. Because their wives will be questioning, why did you spend $50 at this place? Why did you spend $200 at this place? Why do you keep going to this specific place every week after work on a Thursday?
I had not thought of that at all. That makes so much sense.
We were actually discussing this in my workplace, not this exact situation with brothels. But just to add some clarification, Ash is a blue-collar worker. I'm a white-collar worker. I work in a corporate office environment. Ash is out on the road fixing things with his beautiful, sexy hands. But we were talking about this in my workplace over lunch about a couple of people in my office are applying for mortgages. And they were talking about how they hide their spending. And so what they do is that if they want to spend a lot of money on takeaway or they really want to go gamble or just go somewhere that doesn't look appropriate to a bank, they will go do their grocery shopping at Woolies or Coles, and at checkout, they will take out the cash at checkout. So when the bank is looking at it, it's like, oh, they just spent an extra $100 on groceries this week. That's not out of the norm. They can just be questioned and say, I was just throwing a party. So, that's how they cover up their spending. So I'm guessing that this is how these men cover up their spending, by taking money out of places that looks regular on their bank statements to their spouses and then spending it at brothels.
But how do we pay for Uber Eats in cash?
You can. So this is another part that came up in my conversation at work. These people at my job that are applying for mortgages, they take out, you can buy Uber Eats, you can buy a gift card for anything at Woolies or Coles. Uber Eats included.
Oh,
you can gift someone an Uber or an Uber Eats gift card. And so you can include that in your grocery shop.
That is genius.
So you've kind of got to think about it, that how are these men, if they are in committed relationships, covering up their spending if it's linked to a joint bank account? I see everything that Ash spends on our joint account. He sees everything that I spend.
So you saw that thing that I bought the other day?
Yeah, it's okay. I'm not here to yuck anyone's yum. So on that note, I now have a review for Ash.
Excellent.
Mine comes from the area of Somerton, which is north of Melbourne, the Melbourne CBD. This brothel has 23 reviews in total and only a 2.9 star rating. The customer who left this review, his name was Sunil KS. I'm just going to do his initials there. I don't want to dox him. His review was very short. He said, here, $50, kissing charges extra, out of mind. And the owner responded to this and said, the hostess has reserved the right to charge for extras. If you don't want to pay for extras, that's okay also. If you pay for a standard service, then that is what you are entitled to get.
That is fair. The sense of entitlement, I do love the sense of entitlement.
Oh, it was such a running theme through this. I just wanted to reach through my computer screen and just go, who do you think you are? Like, genuinely, who do you think you are? All of these reviews, sorry, I'm just going to have a little bit of a bitch sesh here. All of these reviews had such a running sense of entitlement from men. And it drove me fucking insane.
Yeah. I spent $300, so I should be entitled to this. It's a very, very boomer attitude. I do like it.
But again, looking at some of the reviews, a lot of them aren't too old. I was expecting a lot more senior citizens, but I guess they are the clientele, but they just don't have the knowledge to post on Google reviews. A lot of the Google reviews that are coming through are Gen X, Gen Y.
Yeah, definitely. I did notice a younger trend, which I was also expecting older boomers and whatnot.
And I know we said we were going to do one review from Ash, one review from Madison, but I do just want to follow up with another review from a nearby brothel. I say nearby, but I'm looking at this and I realize that St Kilda isn't anywhere close to the previous one that I read out, but I do want to mention it because it will be good follow-on discussion. So this next review comes from St Kilda, which is a famous area in Victoria for sex work. And this brothel has over 120 reviews and an average rating of 3.8 stars. So the man who left this review, his name is Garv S. And he says, 1 star. All girls are good to communicate or good in service except Lara. She is very bad in service, in communication, and she take much more money from the customer in room. Like she said me that give me extra $50. If you don't pay, then you can't touch me. I requested to you, please give me an answer for this question. So what he is to read between the lines here is that he isn't very happy with Lara because she said, if you want to touch me more, you need to give me an extra $50, and he doesn't want to cough up the money.
See, all I got from that is, she can't communicate very well, but then he's unable to communicate himself.
I was so mad about him talking about how he has to pay an extra $50 to touch her more that I didn't even realize that him complaining about communication and he cannot communicate in the slightest.
Okay.
One of my biggest pet peeves when people write things out in text is putting spaces between the word and the punctuation. So it's like question, space, apostrophe.
I love that that's what we're getting from this.
Yeah.
But look, the issue with the review is it's very one-sided. It's very biased. So all we're getting is she didn't want to let me touch her. She wanted more money for me to even touch her, even though I've paid XYZ amount for this experience.
But he was probably trying to do something with, like, he probably paid for, I don't know, what do you get in a brothel? Like, you sit on them until they climax. He was probably going to do something with, like, stick a finger up her ass.
No, it was probably he just wanted a kiss. So he would have paid for a standard package, and he should have been paying for the girlfriend experience. So she's just turned around and said, no, if you want to kiss me, I want an extra $50. Like, could you imagine leaning into some random dude and just like, giving him a nice lick on the lips for no extra money?
I couldn't. Honestly, applause to these women, because how they even are in the same room as these men.
Some of these men.
Most of these men.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'll give you that.
Most of these men. So, should we hear another one from Ash?
Certainly. I fell down a bit of a rabbit hole while I was doing research on this one. I won't do this one now. I'll skip to a different one. So I am still in the southeast. I didn't actually take down what suburb I was in. I just got southeast Melbourne. It's a brothel with 4.2 stars and 113 reviews. So this is actually a very highly rated brothel. My review is from Meedy N. And he writes, I was disappointed of this place. They just looking for money. If you looking for good place, this not one dude.
Oh my God.
So,
of course they're looking for money. They're giving services.
No. They're in it for the love. They love doing what they do.
Yeah, they love, I'm sure they love it. I'm sure they love it. It's like me taking my car to the mechanic and being like, they try to charge me money to... What do they do? What do you even do at mechanics?
I don't know, service your car? Do some work on your car, maybe?
My car does need a lot of work. But it's like me taking my car to the mechanic and being like, but you love being a mechanic. You love playing around with cars all day. Why are you charging me? I'm giving you the gift of my shitty car to work on. Why should you not be grateful? Why do I have to pay you for that? I'm the one that is making your day, goddammit.
To be fair, mechanics don't make that much money. They have to love what they do. But because they make next to no money, they definitely have to charge you for what they do. So I assume it's the same in the sex work industry.
It just, oh my God. I just wish if I had a genie that gave me 3 wishes, one of my wishes would be to put every man that we've discussed in this podcast into a room. So 1, I could look at them. 2, I could ask them some census questions. And 3, just go, what? Like the absolute audacity that you have.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, I have a bit of a funny one for my next one. And it's not funny ha-ha, it's funny sad.
I love a funny boohoo moment. All right, what do we got?
It's a bit ha-ha, sad, but also a bit, funny. Okay, so this one comes from Geelong. One of my favourite places. They have amazing bagels in Geelong. We've visited there quite a few times and...
They are solid bagels.
They have the best bagels in Australia. I'm just going to put it out there. So this place only has 13 reviews and a 3.3 star rating. Christopher M left this review. And I do have a follow-up response to this brothel. It is not from the owner. It is from someone who lives in the neighborhood.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah,
this is special.
I thought this was an interesting one. Now, remember, we do not know any of the reviews that we are reading to each other. This is completely a regular reaction from Ash. So, Christopher M writes, 1 star, very terrible interior and rooms. Ladies work there from the 1950s.
Okay.
You touch them and they start crying like babies. Don't go there and take your money somewhere else. Now,
Okay.
I don't know if this man is just the worst man that's ever lived. He's ugly on the inside and out, and that's why they're crying like babies. Also, no peering over at my sheet.
I was just getting the date.
Oh, you were just getting the date?
Yeah.
So yeah, there's 2 ways to look at this and neither of them are good. One, that you are just so much of a hideous person inside and out that you merely touching them on the shoulder makes them cry. Or there's the other one, that these women do not want to be in the sex work industry and they are being trafficked or they are there against their will. And so they are crying like babies when you touch them. Neither of them are good because a lot of the sex work industry, people are there by choice, but there's also a very dark side of it that people aren't there by choice. It's how a lot of women get into Australia to have residency, is that they work in illegal brothels under the table. So him just being like, oh, the room's terrible and she screamed and cried when I touched her.
Well, I'm more worried that if the girls are from the 1950s, they've got to be in their 90s. They may have dementia. They may not know what's going on. They may have consented to it last week. Oh, yeah, I want to be a sex worker. And then all of a sudden, they can't remember that they had that conversation. Yeah. Although Geelong, you do raise a good point that it could be an illegal. We're not saying this specific brothel is running illegally, but Geelong does have a very large port where a lot of boats do come in. So there is that possibility. But it is a very serious problem.
In the industry.
Yeah.
So the follow-up I had to this is I was reading through the brothel's other reviews and I saw one from a local resident who lives in the Geelong neighbourhood. Her name is Aristia.
Okay.
And she writes, I used to go to a local primary school and this place has haunted me. It shouldn't be in such a residential area near so many children. Maybe it's the screams.
The screams. Yeah, okay.
She's saying that she used to go to the local primary school and this place has haunted her. Maybe it's because people like Christopher are going in and making them cry like babies.
Yeah, right. There is laws in Victoria against having brothels too close to schools, churches, and a few other establishments. So we might do some research into this one off the microphone and see what actually is going on, how close it is to a school. But that is genuinely terrifying.
I know, and yeah, I think. Not only do the men that leave these reviews have the audacity, but they have just such little self-awareness.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many reviews that we've seen and they're like, XYZ happened. And then the owner will respond and be like, actually, it happened because of this. And it's like, how did you not recognize that?
I see a theme across all of them that when they have 5 or 6 reviews of brothels in there and they're all negative, maybe it's not the brothels that's the problem. Maybe it's the person that's the problem.
Yeah, but that goes with every facet of life. It's not just sex work. It's not just brothels. It's like if you're going to every single job and every single job you're quitting because it's just so look, there's a lot of bad jobs out there, but maybe sometimes you're the problem.
Alrighty, I will do the next review. So I got a review from a brothel in Seaford with 3.8 stars and 21 reviews total. It's a bit of an interesting one. It's the only one I saw of this style when I went through and did my research. This review is by Gemma B. Her review was quite interesting. So, is it okay to film the whole session on your phone? And if not, what are the consequences? Asking on behalf of my soon-to-be ex-partner.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So there was a response from the owner, a good one this time. Hi, Gemma. That's absolutely illegal, and all of the films must be deleted accordingly. We do not tolerate filming of any of our sessions in this premises, and if we find any solid evidences of any customers filming on our premises, we will report them directly to the police. Kind regards, management.
Are men able to take their phones into brothels? I mean, they are able to take their phones, but is it like when you do an escape room? You know when we did that escape room a couple of years ago and you broke the last clue and we ended up getting out in time, but it was because we accidentally cheated.
Yeah.
But when we went into that escape room, you have to put your phone in a locker and you get the key to wear around your neck. Is that the same with brothels?
I don't think so.
That would be good protection for the women that work there, knowing that there are no recording devices and the man can't take this recording and share with his friend.
Well, when I was doing the electrical work in the brothel, there were cameras in every single one of the rooms so that they could be monitored out the back just to make sure nothing was going on in the rooms that they didn't want to be going on.
I think that's completely fair. 100%. That's completely fair. But there needs to be some sort of measures in place to make sure that the people going in and having those services can't record it on their phone.
Well, I assume it'd be down to each individual lady. I'm not sure about the exact rules on it, but if you were okay with it being filmed, then I guess that shouldn't be an issue.
Oh my gosh. I'm surprised when we were going through these reviews that we didn't see more reviews from people who had found out their partners were going there.
Well, that's why I included this one, because it was the only one that I found of its kind. So found it quite interesting.
Well, I've got another interesting one.
Okay. What do you got? Sunshine
North, which is an area west of Melbourne. Despite the name, it does have a reputation for being not so sunshiny. So this brothel has 55 reviews in total with an average rating of 2.6 stars. Nishan S left this review and he said, 1 star. Today the staff lady abused me because she said she was abused by her customers. I was talking to her nicely and didn't say any single word to her. This is not the way you treat your customers in Australia. There's a follow-up response from the owner who says, unfortunately, it was explained to you at the time that the manager had just been assaulted by a drunk customer. It is also very condescending to tell someone to calm down whilst laughing at them. Managers here are constantly complimented on their customer service.
Wow, there is a lot to unpack there.
There is so much. And that's, what Ash was talking about before is that the reviews are very one-sided. A lot of the times that customers are leaving this being like, oh, I was abused. I was asked to leave. Oh, she wanted more money. She stole my money. When it's like you hear the other side of the story from management or the workers themselves and it's like, actually, no, I was just assaulted by a drunk person. And you're over there in the corner telling me to calm down and laughing.
Look, from my experience, never tell a woman to calm down.
That is correct.
Yeah. But after you've just seen them visibly get assaulted or abused by a customer, it's not how you act. That's
again, like the absolute gall of these men to just be like, oh yeah, well you've just been assaulted, but I mean, I'm tapping my invisible watch here, but like, come on, hurry up, it's time to service me.
When I was working at a pub, I did see it a couple of times where one of the security guards would have a swing thrown at them and they would have dealt with the customer, and then another customer would come up and be like, there's a mess in the toilets. Like this person's just been punched in the face and all of a sudden now they've got to deal with the toilet being slightly dirty. It's about priorities. Same with this guy.
Yeah, I worked in a lot of customer service and hospitality jobs when I was in university. And it's very rare for customers to actually step in when something happens to a worker. And if I saw it, I would 100% step in. I just cannot believe this man just witnessed one of the workers be assaulted by a drunk, violent customer and laughs at them and tells them to come. Like, that's just fucking disgusting.
Yeah, it's absolutely horrible, and it's not good enough for humans to be doing that. But unfortunately, that is the way of the world, and it does happen. But
especially after COVID, like I swear every place that I go into now has a sign that says, our workers are people too. Like, we will not tolerate bad behavior. Like, how appalling that these signs even need to be put up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was going to
isn't
say we
society
should.
great?
I was going to say we should take all of these people and put them on an island somewhere. But isn't that kind of how Australia was formed?
Yeah. Also, they shut down Epstein's Island. Just throwing that up there.
Yeah, I know. They need to reopen and we can chuck some more people up there.
But just them, no one else.
Yeah. They can all like scream and shout at each other and carry on. Society would break down if it was just left to run by people like this that just do nothing but take and don't give and don't support other people.
Also, the gall to see someone get assaulted and then be like, oh, I'm going to go on Google and leave a negative review because she was a little bit rude to me after she got her head beaten in.
I know.
What's the... In a Google review, you're not reviewing the customers, you're reviewing the business. So if you saw a customer do something shitty, that shouldn't be reflected in your Google review.
Exactly. So that was another one that I read and I'm just like, I just need to, lock myself in a room and just not enter society in the slightest. I can't deal with these people that I've never even met. I'm just reading their reviews. So
I'll go now. So I've got another brothel southeast with 3.6 stars and 68 reviews in total. This review is by M. I don't know how to pronounce that. It's capital letters KPNC, and his last name starts with M. So his review starts, beware and stay clear, all in capital letters. So it's beware and stay clear from a lady called Diamond. Was giving her some back shots and began to smell something fishy. What's a back shot? Just while we're here.
Isn't a back shot where someone comes on your back?
Yeah, but it's a brothel. Shouldn't they all be wearing protection? Like that's...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so what's a back shot? Is he going at her from behind or...
I don't know.
I don't quite understand. Anyway, he was giving her some back shots and began smelling something fishy. I got out of there as fast as I could, told management, but the lady said that the girls are clean. Doubt it, in capital letters. This was not hateful or false review, as the owner believes. I have been customer at insert brothel name here many times before and have never had issues. I am only sharing my latest experience because I was truly shocked, as it was my first time experiencing such a smell and ended my service 15 minutes early because of it. Please make sure the girls are clean and showering after every client to avoid incidents like this in the future. Plus, Diamond had the audacity to say that I was the one who smelt bad, even though she was giving me sloppy toppy and had all no issues. Don't recommend her at all. Protect yourself at all times, fellas. Yeah.
So while you were reading that out, I looked up on Urban Dictionary backshot.
Beautiful, beautiful. Love it.
Yeah. So there's quite a few different, because, with Urban Dictionary, anyone can just put in a definition. So there's quite a few community definitions, but they all say the same thing. It's when the female sinks in or arches her back while on her knees and hands on the floor. The male proceeds to enter her vagina while she's in that position. It's recommended that the females throw their ass back while in that position, and the male grabs her hair and slaps her ass a few times while saying dominant words.
Okay. Do the dominant words have to be included in that?
I don't know.
Okay.
Or there was this one from 2005 where someone, I didn't realize that Urban Dictionary's been around that long.
Oh yeah, it's been around years. It's magical.
But someone said, to perform a back shot, you got to screw someone from behind, bareback. Either hole will do.
Okay. We'll assume it wasn't the latter. We'll assume it was the first one just because brothel should be wearing a condom, should be keeping things nice and safe.
Yeah.
But at least now we know. So there was a response from the owner for this review. The response from the owner was, we personally think this is a disgusting review and completely untrue. To take the time to write such hate is beyond me. I have noticed you seem to write bad reviews about these adult establishments. Have you ever thought you could be the problem? You should keep your vile opinions, building, and hate to yourself.
That's fair.
Yeah, that is fair. I appreciate the hell out of that response. So after I read that, I did do a little bit more digging into Captain C.
Oh, yes.
I couldn't find any other brothel reviews. I did see a few 1-star reviews for Service Station. I'm going to read the review out for the Service Station just because I think it gives an amazing insight as to what's going through this man's head. Do not buy sushi from this place. Had little to no tuna in the rolls and was basically eating rice and seaweed. Sushi tasted sour as well. I should have gone 30 seconds up the road to 7-Eleven to get the spicy tuna roll crunch sushi. Have you ever watched the Chubby Emu video on the man who ate service station sushi?
No, I have not.
Okay, so he got a parasite and had to have large portions of his bowels removed.
Oh my God.
Do not buy sushi from a fucking service station.
Or if you do buy sushi from a service station, go 30 seconds up the road to 7-Eleven, apparently.
Apparently, but what terrible life decisions has this man made to be, oh, I'm hungry, I'm going to get service station sushi. It's never good. It's never going to be good.
Look, it seems that a fishy smell seems to follow him around from brothel to service station. Maybe the smell he was smelling was his bad service station sushi.
But it didn't have any tuna in it. It was just rice.
Oh my God. These reviews just open up a whole world of people that you just don't think exists.
But something began to smell fishy. That just keeps resonating in my brain.
I have a good one for you next. Good. I don't know. We've got a very recurring theme on, lack of, what's it called? Lack of self-awareness, yeah.
Okay, yep.
So my next review comes from the CBD, right smack bang in the middle of the Melbourne CBD. This brothel has 120 reviews with a 3.8 star average. And this customer, I'm going to say their full name because it's not a name. They're just called Tech Tips.
Okay.
And their review was 1 star, very bad service, done nothing and lost money. Girl come in after pay and shouting, help, help from room, and they will kick you out or tell you if you not leaving, they will call police. Not recommended, waste of money.
Okay, so trespass is a crime. Let's just start out with that. I would love to hear a response from the owner for this one. But
I would love a response too, but unfortunately there wasn't one. And similar to the one in Geelong where he's talking about you touch them and they start crying like babies. If you're leaving a review where you're saying that you use this sex worker service and they were yelling help, help from a room and you refuse to leave the premises, I think I'm going to believe the sex worker and the brothel over this one.
Yeah, I have that feeling as well. Like, this is a good way of not doing business. If every single one of your clients came in, paid your money, and then all of a sudden, help, help, they've got to get out. They're not going to make any money doing that. So,
and there were no other reviews. What this brothel had 120 reviews of. Not any other of the reviews had someone saying, oh, there was this scam where they suck my dick and they take my money and then they're like, help me. And the police come and they take me away and I go through the courts and I'm charged and I spend 12 years in jail and then I get out, I go back to that brothel and they're like, help. And the cycle repeats again.
Yeah, I don't buy that. I have a feeling he did something that the girl did not like. And that's why he was kicked out. But also, what a terrible pseudonym. Was there any other reviews that he did?
No, I actually forgot to look at his other reviews.
Okay. All right. Well, how about I roll into one? So I've got a brothel. It's 3.4 stars with 48 reviews. And they are heavily advertising that they are under new management. This was in several of their negative reviews. They said,
like our local Domino's.
Yeah. But I am glad that our local Domino's is under new management because they were damn awful beforehand. So I'm assuming this might be the same sort of issue here. There was a lot of responses in all their negative reviews saying, oh, we're under new management. Come down, have a look. It's much better, blah, blah, blah. So take from that what you will. But we have a review from Kanwapal S. His review is, worst experience with them. I went with a girl named D. She was so rude with me and abusing me again and again. To come fast, saying I am tired and can't do it. I would never recommend anyone to come here. Please don't waste your money and time. Thank you. So a little bit to unpack there, but then we've got response from the owner. The response from the owner was 8 months ago. By the looks of it, they took over ownership about 12 months ago. It was a bit hard to find exact information. So this is from the new owners. Hello, Kunpal. We are sorry to hear you have had bad experience. However, it would have been better if you reported the incident to us directly rather than put up Google review because we should work out something for you on the day. FYI, all service providers are independent to us and none of them are our employees. So the owner of the business has basically just said, slapped their hands, said, we're not responsible for them, they're subcontractors.
Well,
if you've got an issue, bring it up with them.
That does actually happen on a lot of brothels and a lot of strip clubs as well. I used to watch these two strippers on YouTube and they would spend like different weekends at every strip club. So there are a lot that cycle through.
Oh, I have no issues with that, but just the management saying, oh, we're not responsible for them at all. They're working at your establishment, you are responsible for them. Like if they were to fall and break their hip or have a guy push them and injure them, they would be going after your business. So you are responsible for them. You don't just wipe your hands and say, oh, we're not responsible for them. This was also a typical response by the owner over a few reviews saying, oh, they're just subcontractors. We don't deal with them, blah, blah, blah. If you're going to make a complaint, who do you complain to then? If you can't complain to the establishment itself, assuming this is true, which could be, we don't know. Yeah, it seems a bit shitty to brush your hands of it and be like, oh, we don't care.
Yeah. Okay, so my next review comes from Williamstown, which is kind of just outside the Melbourne CBD to the west a little bit. This brothel has 64 reviews and a 2.7 star average.
Wow, you have some really low star brothels over that side. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So this review is from Jake D, and he writes, 1 star, worst experience, came after a very long time. The girl named Jess is a complete liar. She said she provides girlfriend experience, and when I went into the room, she completely changed and asked me for $100 extra for the girlfriend experience. And when I said I am okay, for standard, she just sat on the side and started using her phone. And when I asked her what was happening, she said, if you pay me, I give you service. Otherwise, you are more than happy to leave. I don't care. And then I was also looking at other 1-star reviews for this business. And there was another one that I thought I should mention from Hardeep SG. He says, very bad experience trying to rip off money. One girl tried to punch me and they stole my mobile while I tried to record when girl was abusing me and police got involved. Police gave me my phone later. Please never go there. We were a couple of friends went in there. I never had experience like this before. Please stay away and stay safe.
This might be the first one where the 2-star does sound justifiable, although pulling out your phone and recording them without their permission, we discussed this earlier, does seem like a bit of a no-no.
And it also, again, linking back to a couple of other reviews, is why were the girls abusing you?
Yeah.
Were you trying to skimp out on pain? Because that warrants abuse. And then they're telling you to pay, so you start recording and go like, I'm recording you. Rah, rah, rah.
I feel like if there are bad actor sex workers in these establishments, that the management's going to squash that pretty quick and get rid of them and make them move on. So I do want to question whether it was the man or the sex workers that was the actual issue in this case. Mm-hmm. But very interesting, especially with the other reviews. But it is a very low reviewed brothel, so maybe this is just how they conduct their business.
Yeah. I
have a nice short one for you. So this was at another Southeast one with 4.2 stars and 113 reviews. The reviewer just asked, is this open 24 hour? I come at 5 a.m. No one answer with call number. Their open times are clearly on the Google page when you search for them. It's also on the landing page of their website and also 3 times in the bottom of their website. Yeah.
Yeah. The lights are off. Nobody's home. Why are you there?
But the effort this man went to go down there at 5 a.m., be like, yep, this is what I want to do, without doing any prior research before, and then going on and leaving a 1-star review because they were shut when they clearly said they were shut. I found that quite funny.
My next review comes from South Melbourne, and this brothel only has 10 reviews and only a 2.4 star average, which is quite low.
You got some really low ones. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to say this man's full name because I don't think it's his real name, and if it is, I'm sorry, but it's pretty funny. His name is Cameron Meow.
Meow.
Meow. He says, 1 star. I'm laughing even before I start reading this out. 1 star. Wasted my money. It was cheap, but the girl kept calling me fat. Even though she was chunky herself. And her performance was average. Like she just wanted to get me out of there. I couldn't finish and had to leave disappointed.
Shouldn't have laughed.
I also looked at some other reviews from this brothel, and someone actually left a 5-star review. And he said, best service I've ever had after pandemic. Momo and Sugar are also good at communications. The place looks just renovated. Which I didn't really think about there being such a long... Because Victoria had one of the longest lockdowns in Australia.
I think it was in the world.
In the world. One of the longest lockdowns in the world. So a lot of these services were closed.
Yeah, completely shut down.
Completely shut down.
Wearing a mask is one thing, but then you're a little bit more intimate with the person wearing a mask. So
exactly.
Yeah.
So it's really something to think about. Is these places went 6 to 12 months at a time without operating.
Yeah, which would have been incredibly hard for anyone in the industry, even like entertainment and all service industry. Everything was pretty shut down.
Exactly, and I kind of just want to back that discussion onto this review. Sorry, I'm jumping in again. Of one straight in the CBD, 127 reviews and a 3.2 average. They are the only brothel in Victoria to be open 24 hours a day.
Wow. Okay.
So maybe your mate in the other review was trying to get to this one in the CBD.
I don't know. He was out in Dandenong, so
yeah, and this is right in the city. For anyone listening, Dandenong's probably about a 50-minute train ride.
Yeah, about that.
Between both locations.
40-ish minute drive, depending on traffic.
So S. Paul left this review and he said, was going to try this place as the ladies on selection seemed good on Twitter. Twitter is now X. Just a quick note is that a lot of sex work people advertise their services on Twitter/X.
Oh, I don't have a Twitter account, so this is all, X account. This is all new to me.
Yeah, because there aren't as many content restrictions on Twitter/X as there are on other social media platforms.
Is that because Elon Musk doesn't give a fuck?
No, this was before Elon Musk.
Oh, okay.
So
cool.
in the early days of Twitter, people have been advertising their sex work services for years on Twitter.
That's interesting.
And it's a place to advertise what the women properly look like and kind of the services they offer. But again, I'll take it from the top. S. Paul says, was going to try this place as the ladies on selection seemed good on Twitter. Buzzed to the front door and it was opened, but didn't even get to speak before the receptionist, using a harsh tone, ordered me to wear a mask. I am medically exempt, which I explained, but this did not seem to matter to her, and she refused to allow me entry, saying that's not going to fly. As a result, I felt very discriminated against. For future reference, in case this business is simply unaware, medical exemptions for masks are common, and according to the website of DHHS, no proof is required to be held or produced, not even to police. This is kind of treatment, with the receptionist in question operating a matron-like fashion by bossing customers around, and is certainly not conducive to her and the entire purpose of coming here, which is to unwind, relax, and be treated nicely after a long day's work, etc. This business is shooting itself in the foot by continuing to allow this. Please do better, as for every customer that voices their dissatisfaction, there's hundreds that feel the same way.
Okay. I did hate the mask mandates. I did wear one. I had no issues with wearing one as it was protecting the greater good. The medical exemption was a little bit bullshit, and you should have had to show proof for that. I remember going down to the post office, and all three of the ladies were sitting there behind their little screens with no masks on, handling our mail, coughing, spluttering. It was absolutely disgusting. I can only imagine what that would be like for a sex worker, having someone come in there, coughing, spluttering, and being like, I don't need to wear a mask.
But also, are they wearing the masks in their servicing appointments? Or is it just for the reception area? I
would assume it's just the reception area because there's a little bit more than breathing going on in there. It was people trying to keep themselves safe. That everyone was scared during the lockdowns and the pandemic.
And a lot of the people that are anti-maskers, anti-vaxxers, they only do it to be contrarian. They want to go against the grain. oh, I just don't like being told to do it, so I'm not going to wear it. I've only ever met one person who is properly medical exempt, and that's my hairdresser. And I go to her because I have a lot of nerve damage from a surgery that I had, and it makes, having your hair cut unpleasant. And she also has nerve damage, but in the lower half of her face. And so wearing a mask is just like hot shooting needles in her face. So she's medically exempt, and that is completely fine. But is this person going and just being like, oh, I just don't want to wear a mask. I want them to feel my hot, disgusting breath all over their face?
Well, the thing with the medical exemption for the masks is you were still supposed to be wearing a face shield so that your little spittles when you're talking aren't going everywhere. And I'm sure your hairdresser would have been wearing one of the face shields. I know there was a few ladies at my local Coles. They were medically exempt. I ended up having a really long chat to one just because I was in lockdown. I had nothing better to do. I'd been allowed out of the house to go shopping. So I went and had a chat to this lady, and she had really, really, really bad asthma. But she's like, I would like to protect myself. So the only other option that I have is to wear this face mask or face shield. So that's what she was wearing. So there's people who are running around, I don't have to wear a mask. Should have been wearing a face shield if they wanted to actually protect or be a functioning member of society.
Exactly. But I will hand over to you to do the next review because I've done a couple back to back.
Okay, I fell down a bit of a rabbit hole with this guy. So it started in Dandenong and it ends in the CBD.
It's like a police car chase.
It basically is. So we'll start in Dandenong. We're looking at a brothel with 3.4 stars and 53 reviews total. This brothel does cater to a specific ethnicity. This is very obvious on their website. That's not what's in question here, though. This gentleman's name is Matthew W. I first looked at his review just because the spelling was awful. So this is the one where I'm going to need to take a very deep breath to get through it. Not this review, but the next one. So I will start. Short vend on time. Upselling and request for tip money time that you have already paid for. False accusations of intoxication. Complaints to senior management were polite but got only abuse in return. So basically this dude saying he got shorted on time. I clicked onto Matthew W's profile and I found another 1-star review at a brothel about 10 kilometers away. Dismissive and rude receptionist on Sunday night called with a legitimate complaint, and the only reason why she did not hang up on my ear was because I told her that if she hung up in my ear that I would present in person to complain. She only referred me to her boss, who she claimed would only be working the following morning. I will not waste my time. Coco does nothing in the room other than make promise of service. She will give impression that she will do high quality work and more economical work outside this joint, and impression is given when she gifts her mobile number, which she will not pick up. She will not respond to SMS. Coco is a heroin and meth addict and only wants drug talk in the room. She also preoccupied with scratching her head during meth withdrawal. Sophie is Korean, who is also ice addict. She is a take who will defraud you on time and not give anything back in return. Any attempt to give a reasonable adjustment will lead you to being treated like you are unreasonable for asking.
Wow. A lot to unpack there.
Oh, we continue. We continue.
Oh.
So that was the second brothel we're talking about. Also on his profile was a third brothel. So this one's a little bit closer to the CBD, sort of near your area that you went through. It's a very short review. It's terrible. I will elaborate when I have more time. But we did get a response from the owner from this one. Hi, Matthew. I'm surprised you're using your real name here. Please stop spreading lies about our business. Trying to drug ladies and abuse people is not acceptable. We are of the understanding that every brothel in Melbourne has banned you for this poor behaviour. This isn't good. Please check into rehab as soon as you can. Matthew, we truly hope you receive proper medical attention and the proper medical attention you need. We wish nothing but good health for you and a good life. Good luck, management.
Wow. So he's trying to drug the women.
It sounds that way. Well, he was complaining that one of the girls only wanted to talk about drugs in the room when he was in there.
I do imagine that a lot of these brothels, despite being competition, would talk to each other.
Oh, 100%. There's like lists. It's like there's a register for if you're banned in a specific area for alcohol. I remember when I was working at a bar, there was a big book of people that we weren't allowed to serve. for whatever reason, but it was only one or two of them that had come from our venue. Everything else was random different venues saying, oh, this man was dealing drugs in our establishment, or this man got into a punch-on and broke 12 people's teeth sort of thing, and that was why they were banned. So I'm assuming that brothels have the exact same sort of thing.
Well, I have an interesting one to go into next. This comes from West Melbourne. 24 reviews, 2.4 star average, so quite low. The fun fact about this venue is that the owner responds to every negative review with a sentence.
God bless.
And then a copy pasta of the same response.
Oh, God bless.
So he'll change the first sentence and then everything else is just copy paste.
Oh, love it. Love it.
And it's amazing. So the customer was Marco, and he says, day before yesterday, I visited this place. As it was my first time experience, I asked my friend and he suggested me this place. But when I went over there and told that it was my first time, the lady named Chantel or Chantel was too bossy and she asked me not to touch her. The entire session was really worst for me. She made me feel worst. I came there for stress relief, but she gave me more stress. She was rude and too arrogant. I felt really bad for being there. No person in my life has shown me such behavior. Terrible experience. The owner responds, hey Freddie, thanks for your feedback. We are very sorry to hear. As per every girl, they have the right to refuse any touching. These are called extras that the girls have an extra charge for. For future reference, you should ask the girl when doing intro on what she can and will not do. Cheers. Management name. We all know that Google reviews for the sex industry means jack shit. I have over 30,000 followers across several social media apps and different business names. So thank you for your review, as you are a fake reviewer, and my competitors who are jealous of my sexy young Aussie, Korean, Thai, Spanish, etc. girls who give excellent service. That is why I've been in the business for the last 30 years.
Okay.
I also just wanted to share another review that was left on there for 1 star. That is quite obviously a fake review.
Okay, yep.
Very fake. The name of the reviewer is called Yuri. You retarded.
God.
And Yuri says, I paid extra and booked an hour with the owner. He loves taking it up the arse and gives good submissive slave experience. Although he pooed on me, which was a bit weird. This punter has also left a 1-star review for a Catholic girls' school in Lismore. And he writes, had a teacher who brought her parrot to school. She was very annoying and would not shut up, but at least the bird was cool. And to that from Yuri, the owner just copy and pasted we all know Google reviews for the sex industry means jack shit. I have 30,000 followers and so on.
If you're going to do fake reviews, can't you make them a little bit more real? Like,
I know, and
what's
obviously
with the parrot story? We'll link back, we'll go back to the other stuff, but what's with the parrot review? Like,
well, obviously the person leaving this review is female, so I'm guessing it's an ex-employee because they're leaving a review for a Catholic girls' school. Which is quite obviously they went to that Catholic girls' school. Then they've changed their name on Google and left a negative review.
Gotcha. Yep.
For this one. But yeah, I do appreciate the copy and paste to all the negative reviews.
Oh, that's amazing. That I appreciate the hell out of that. And just that he's replying to every single 1-star review.
Every single one. Just copy and paste, copy and paste. Occasionally, like I said, he'll change the first sentence, which with this owner response, it's like, he was quite caring. He's like, hey, Freddie, thanks for your feedback. Like, FYI, any extra services like touching or so on do incur extra charges. Kind regards to the management. And then it's just a copy and paste underneath of, these reviews mean jack shit. You're a fake reviewer.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, they are women. And I think some of these guys have somehow forgotten that they're actually human beings.
Oh, yeah, they're people. They just think that they're sex robots.
Yeah. Oh, you're providing me a service. You must do all the things that I want. I spent $300. I've got that sense of entitlement.
Yeah, they're someone's mother, daughter, sister, cousin.
Yeah.
Like, they're people.
And it feels there's a big disconnect with some of these people. It just doesn't feel like they're humans. I will follow one up. So I am at another brothel that in southeast Victoria, that caters to a specific ethnicity, very obvious on their website. Again, not the issue that we're talking about. So this is actually quite a highly reviewed brothel with 3.9 stars and 305 reviews. So it was actually quite hard finding 1-star reviews, which I found was quite interesting. So this one's by Oshawa G. Don't go to this place because all the girls good no service. Just want your money for extra service, but not give you good service. So don't waste your money at this place with bad service. Bad service for a girl named Hannah from Vietnam. I was booked for her an hour, but cheating on me, her service with rush and bad service. Please don't go here. So I did a bit of follow-up on Oshawa. He's left several reviews for job agencies that provided him with employment. So he was saying, hey, this job agency is great. This job I've been working at for the past 3 months has been fantastic, blah, blah, blah. He also had several photos on his profile with his friends eating at restaurants and all the other places that he'd reviewed. I just found this one was really interesting because it's a 305 reviews, very few one-star reviews, and he's just saying the service is terrible, the service is terrible, the service is terrible.
Maybe it's you, dickhead.
Yeah. It's a service industry job. If the service truly is terrible, they won't exist anymore, or they'll have a lot lower reviews. So I just found it bizarre that this man saying service terrible, service terrible. There wasn't any reviews, replies from the management, unfortunately, but I just felt it was an interesting one. And why you would have your friends and yourself on your profile reviewing brothels, I don't quite know.
Interesting. Well, this is my last review, and then I'll hand it over to Ash for his last reviews. So my last review comes from West Footscray. So it's kind of west of the CBD. And this brothel only has 27 reviews and a 3.5 star average. And some relevant information here is that they respond to every single review, negative, positive, in the most professional and respectful way I've ever heard. It is just a very kind place. So they received a 1-star review from a guy called Alex A. And he says, 1 star, I recently paid $190 to them for 2 shorts and $50 to Selena from Taiwan. But unfortunately, the experience fell short of expectations. She wasted my 25 minutes by doing stupid things. Despite the payment, I did not receive the promised services because she refused to give services, even not refund. Numerous attempts to resolve the issue with the receptionist and her as well, but unsuccessful, leaving me dissatisfied with the overall service. Potential customers should approach with caution considering my disappointing encounter. If you want good services and satisfaction, then go somewhere else. Because these guys are scammers. Selena is just her name to attract customers, but while doing paid, she is something else. I am having screenshots with her number as well. First of all, of course, Selena is not her real name.
All the names used in this, other than the reviewers' names, are fake.
Of course. And when I had a little bit of a giggle when he's like, she wasted my 25 minutes by doing stupid things.
What justifies stupid things?
What are stupid things? Is she just rolling over, not looking at you and playing Candy Crush on her phone?
Nah, maybe she was just sitting there bapping it, like left and right. Bap, bap,
yeah,
bap,
like
bap.
poking his balls, tickling his asshole, like...
Yeah. And also, his paying for the service, could he not just say, hey, can you stop wasting your time? Let's get into this, blah, blah, blah.
Exactly. So the owner responded and they said, Dear Alex, thank you for sharing your feedback. We are truly sorry to hear that your experience with our service did not meet your expectations. Our goal is always to provide a high quality service and customer satisfaction.
Ooh, fancy words.
Regarding your concerns, we understand that it can be very frustrating not to receive the service you are expecting. However, we would like to clarify that our policy on refunds is based on the completion of services rendered. If the service was fully delivered as per the agreement, requesting a refund can be challenging for us to accommodate. So basically they're saying, you got your rocks off. It happened. We value the trust our customers place in us, and we are committed to resolving any issues amicably. If you believe there was a misunderstanding or a lapse in our service, we encourage you to reach out to us directly with more details. We are more than willing to look into this matter further and find a solution that is fair and satisfactory for both parties. Once again, we apologize for any inconvenience caused and hope to have the opportunity to service you better in the future.
What a response.
That sounds like something I would write in my corporate job.
Yeah, that's very politically correct and professional of them.
I also have to just add in this other 5-star review that they received.
Okay.
This same venue. This man called Alpa wrote 5 stars and he said, I'm filthy, I'm ashamed, but I'm addicted. I'm sick for women. Plus 1 from a guy called Patrick, which I hope is a gag review. And he said, asked if I could wear a mask on my head and the lady looked at me like I was a criminal. I'm a meal, not a snack. Look at me nicely, please.
Is it possible maybe they were offering a discounted service to get 5-star reviews, and these guys are just like, well, what do I write? 5 stars. It was good and stuff. I liked it.
Well, actually, part of my job is understanding the laws behind specific marketing techniques.
Okay.
I'm just going to put it. I know a little bit about the legal side of things. That's what I did in university, and I have to take it into everything I do in my day-to-day corporate white-collar job. And something that is very illegal and goes against the ACCC, so the Australian Consumer Commission, is that you cannot encourage 5-star reviews through discounts.
That's
so
interesting.
you cannot say, I will give you $20 off your haircut if you leave a 5-star review.
Interesting.
It's considered manipulation. So they actually can't do stuff like that, which is interesting.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So there's just some unhinged dudes being like, I wore a mask, it was sick. 5
Yeah, there are
stars.
just some unhinged dudes out there.
All right, cool.
Who are
Sweet.
just having the best time ever.
You know what? I appreciate those reviews more than the 1-star reviews, because you never know where it's going to go.
You really don't. And that's everything from my reviews. So, Ash, do you want to take the last couple?
I will take us out with my last one. So this is from a brothel with 3.8 stars and 120 reviews. So again, a nice high-rated brothel. So this is from Adam S. Worst place I have ever been to. Customer satisfaction is the last thing on the priority list. I paid for 1-hour deluxe service with girl named April because she said she only does deluxe, which is $330. Soon as I walk in the room, she does a CSI body, clothes, and glasses check on me. This made me really uncomfortable, and when I voiced my concern, she said that I am being rude. If I do that again, she will walk out. 20 minutes into our time, she wanted to be full dominating, which I don't like, but she said she will only do it her way. When I voiced my concern, she got up and left the room. I went downstairs to talk to management. They told me that there's nothing they can do and won't refund me either. So I walked out getting 25 minutes of service when I paid for an hour. I will never ever go back there. If I can't run a if I can't run a business properly, then don't open one. Okay, cool. So basically, specific girl said, I only want to do deluxe, which costs this much. He's agreed to it. They've gone in the room, and now he's complaining that they have to do a visual check over them. So when I was doing the electrical safety at this brothel, they had lamps in every single room with positionable heads, and they had showers in every single one of the rooms. So if one of the Johns came in and they were sweaty or dirty after work, they could have a quick shower. The girls do a visual inspection to make sure there's no open wounds or
any visual STIs.
Visual obvious signs of STIs before they even start. This is a standard practice in the industry. So why he's uncomfortable, I'm not 100% sure. It sounds like from his review that he's been to multiple brothels in the past. So maybe this was just the first one that actually followed through and did it to him.
Which is worrying. I mean, it is a negative review, but if I was a John, a patron, and I looked at that, I'm like, oh, cool, they check people over really good. I know that there's not a chance of me catching something here. That is a positive.
Yeah, I would have thought so. And as for her taking control in the room, that might be because he was being a rude prick and she just wanted to get it done. I don't quite know. But if you got your rocks off, why are you asking for a refund? I don't understand this. Like, the service has been provided to you. I just don't understand.
I think I'd like to understand more. Like, say they book a girl for an hour and the guy finishes in the first 15 minutes. Do the girls have to hang around and try to get him to finish again?
Weirdly enough, when I was younger, I made some crank calls to a brothel or several brothels.
Oh God.
We pulled them. This shows my age a little bit. We pulled them out of the yellow pages and we were calling them up. It was a group of friends and we were just taking dares to say stupid shit. So one of them was, oh, can I bring a chicken? Blah, blah, blah. The receptionist took like a goddamn champ. She was like, yeah, sure. Burk, 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 burk. Until we hung up. She just kept squawking at us. So
I love that.
It was beautiful. But another one that was legitimately asked was, what happens if I finish in like 2 minutes? And the response was, you've paid for your full time. What the girl will do will strip you down and she'll give you a massage or
nice.
sit and talk with you. Like you've paid for that hour. So
You get the full hour.
You get the full hour unless, of course, you agree on like, I'm kind of over this. Can we just...
And you want to leave after the 15 minutes.
Yeah, and you want to leave after the 15 minutes. So... Moral of the story, don't prank call brothels. They've heard it all before, and they will fuck with you just as hard as you fuck with them.
Which I love because it's something that a lot of other service industries can't do.
Yeah, they can't get away with that.
You can't do that at your local McDonald's if you're a manager.
Alrighty, we're going to wrap it up for today. This was our inaugural episode of One Star Bangs. Would love for you to jump on whatever app you're listening to this on and give us a review. Would also love to see you on any of our social medias, and we would love to hear some comments, stories, or any suggestions for episodes. Next week, we will be doing another state. We're not against looping back around and doing the same state again if we find something new and interesting. Thank you very much. I have been Ashley, and this has been
Madison, and we'll pop everything you need to hear in the show notes wherever you're listening to this so you can find us on social media and have a flick through. But thank you for letting us into your ear holes.